So how did it come about that I chose to learn to speak Spanish? I'm Joseph. This is Input English. Let's get started. This came out of the comment section. Over the past 5 months, I've enjoyed reading the comments, and I've learned a lot about what people are thinking, and I've gotten a lot of suggestions. One of the suggestions that keeps coming up in the comment section is, you say you've been learning Spanish. What about that journey? How did you approach learning Spanish? What's that all about? And why? So I thought it was time to answer that question and make a video. I think I resisted making this video because I really didn't want to make this channel all about me, but it's a story, and you know how we like stories. So let's tell you a story about a fellow of a certain age who decided to learn to speak Spanish. My first attempt to learning the language was when I was in high school. We were asked to select what language we were going to learn as part of our requirement. It was required that we learn a language. The choices available to us at that time were Latin, Spanish, French, German, and that was it. Those were the 4 choices. And so I looked at that and thought, I should learn Latin because that's the very learned language. That's the more erudite language that's going to come back and benefit me later in life if I pursue a really good education. I'll need Latin, right? So I bounced that idea off my dad, who poo-pooed it. He said, no, that makes no sense. He went on to explain that in his opinion, it made no sense because everybody who speaks Latin, or virtually everybody who speaks Latin, is dead. You can't talk to people in Latin. It'll never happen. And he said, besides, if you run into Latin terminology in your education, you'll just learn those words. You don't need to learn an entire language to pick up some words that are now part of the English language. Well, what he said made sense, and so that narrowed my options down to Spanish, French, and German. And I just, based on affinity, picked German. It just sounded more fun. And I was really interested in high school about having fun, weren't we all? So I chose German. The classes were the traditional method of learning with a lot of grammar and vocabulary. And over a period of 2 years, I relentlessly learned almost nothing. And as I've told in other videos, when I received a scholarship to study in Austria at the university in Graz, I went there and I was armed with my high school German and a little yellow dictionary. I figured that would be enough. It was horrible. I could not buy groceries. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't ask directions. I couldn't understand the people. Now, it was made worse because of a little detail, and that is Graz is the capital of Styria. Styria is the state within Austria, and Styria has its own accent, and it's pretty strong. And so I had learned German typical of Germany, typical of what you would hear on the television or the radio. And now I'm in Styria trying to understand people with a dialect. So at that point, I knew that my high school German was nearly worthless, but I could pick out a few words that these folks were saying. Over a period of more than 3 months, I listened to the German spoken to me and around me, and the habit I developed was to speak to people in English, and they frequently understood me, and then they would speak to me in German. And so we wound up doing language exchange over a period of more than 3 months. I learned so much by that method that when I came back to the United States, I was looking for more material because I wanted to continue my studies. I did not want to go to classes. I wanted to continue my studies, and I was looking for videos. They did not exist. So now we fast forward to the pandemic. During the pandemic, a lot of us had some time on our hands. It was a horrible experience, and it seemed at the time to be never ending, but we had to figure out what to do with ourselves because there were many things that we would ordinarily do that were simply unavailable. So I started reading, and I found a fellow online named Ben McAvoy who was curating literature from the Western canon. He was making very specific recommendations on what to read, how to read it, what translations to use. Ben is an enthusiast, and he added a great deal of interest in reading to me. Since his curation of literature made a great deal of sense, I took a lot of his recommendations. During that time, I learned to allocate my time on a day-to-day basis so that I did a lot of reading. Basically, I read a book a month or more during the entire pandemic. That in and of itself was enough, but there was more. During one of his discussions, he discussed the issue of translating works from other languages and the simple fact that a lot of translations are lousy and some translations are quite good. And he recommended 2 translations as good choices for Don Quixote. In his video, he commented that one could simply learn how to speak Spanish and then read Don Quixote in the original Spanish. That seemed like an extraordinary idea. It was a spark. It was an idea. I hadn't had time to consider it or study it, but it just seemed like an intriguing idea to like a piece of literature enough to put that kind of effort into it. And this thought process was going on during the pandemic and during a period of time that I was reading a book a month or more. When I looked into it, I found that there was a major flaw in the plan, and that is Don Quixote was written in early modern Spanish, which doesn't look very much like modern Spanish. It's very different than the Spanish one would learn today. But the idea was enough because it rested upon my experience learning German in language exchange when I was living in Austria. So I looked online. I researched a term of art that I had heard, comprehensible input. Now, mind you, I didn't know what comprehensible input meant. I just had it in my mind that maybe it meant what I think it means. So that experience of looking that up allowed me to find Stephen Krashen and his lectures on YouTube. It allowed me to find the Link, L-I-N-G-Q app and Steve Kaufman. So I started watching videos about comprehensible input to learn the mechanics of how you use it to learn a language. When I got onto the Link app, I selected Spanish and started with the mini stories. They were difficult, but day after day I kept working on them and I learned a lot and things started to make more sense. In some of the beginner material on the Link app, I found stories being told by Pablo Roman. Pablo Roman is the creator of Dreaming Spanish, and he published a bunch of his beginner material on Link. That's how I found Pablo. That's how I found Dreaming Spanish. Decades ago, I was invited to give some lectures in Spain. I was traveling with bilingual people, and so my lack of Spanish wasn't really a big deal for the most part. That trip took me to Barcelona, Madrid, and Gijón up in Asturias. What I discovered on that trip is I really enjoyed listening to people speak Spanish the way they speak it in Spain. I'm not saying it's better, I'm just saying I enjoyed it. It just had a ring to it that I really enjoyed. It was personal preference, not good or bad, just personal preference. I enjoyed hearing the sound of the language. When I found Dreaming Spanish and I found the beginner videos, it was the same sound. It was exactly the same pronunciation. And I just felt super comfortable with what was happening. Starting in February of 2023, I made a decision that I would get 3 to 4 hours of input every day. Initially that was hard because I had not yet built a habit, but over a period of about a month, that habit solidified in my schedule and became very comfortable. Every morning I would get up and watch an hour of video over coffee and breakfast. Then as my level of comprehension got better, I was able to play audios in the car going to and from work. That gave me more input. And then in the evening, instead of watching television or scrolling through a bunch of videos online, I watched videos on Dreaming Spanish. On the Dreaming Spanish website, Pablo has a series of videos that explain how comprehensible input works, how to do it, what to do, what not to do, a lot of reassurance on what you should do if you encounter difficulties. And so his language learning advice was actually instrumental in my ability to proceed with this process. I realized that his advice was super important, and when I listened to his advice, it was all in Spanish, so it was all content. Pablo does not speak in English on any of his videos. There's no English. It's all Spanish. So everything you hear, including the advice of how to learn a language, is in the target language. I also found videos by Juan Fernandez, also originally from Spain, and so I watched a lot of his videos and then got into his podcasts as well. Over a period of 19 months, I listened to and watched content totaling more than 2,000 hours. For all of us learning a new language, we have to realize that this is a process that has no finish line. There is no point at which you are done. It's a process that continues for the rest of your life. Now, with more than 2,000 hours of input, I can watch videos, native content videos, listen to native content podcasts, TV shows. Certainly, there are things I have trouble understanding if there's a lot of slang or if there's a severe dialect, but for the most part, I understand native content. In terms of speaking, I don't have a lot of opportunities to speak Spanish with native speakers, and I need to work on that. I need to come up with a plan. I do speak, but I'm reading aloud, I'm talking to myself, and what I'm not doing is a lot of conversations with native speakers. I think this spring it's time for me to get serious about using Tandem and using language exchange as a way to start focusing on output, because it's time for more output. This channel has grown out of that experience. The reason I have so many videos on how to learn English is because of the influence that Pablo had on me during my journey learning Spanish. The style of the videos that I make have been influenced by the videos on Dreaming Spanish and by the videos created by Juan Fernandez. Videos from both of these sources have a vibe of friendliness, a friendly conversation without a lot of fancy effects. Videos from both of these sources are true to the methods of comprehensible input. The reason I chose to learn Spanish was because of a spark, an idea that it could be done. And then I realized that people would not expect me to do it. Being of a certain age, people would assume that I'm too old to do this. I missed my opportunity to learn Spanish. So I set about to prove that wrong. I chose to learn Spanish as a response to my experience trying to learn German because the way we studied German in school was so onerous and boring that this comprehensible input looked like an opportunity to turn language into a game, into something fun, something positive. Part of me did this in order to understand how comprehensible input works. I was very curious about it, and the best way to learn more about it is to use it, test it, experience it, and prove that it does or does not work in my hands. So curiosity had a great deal to do with why I tackled this language. Everyone has their own reason for learning a language, and if there is a dimension of fun or sense of adventure embedded in your reason, I believe your chances of success are much greater. If learning a language like English is just an onerous task that you feel would help you maybe in the future, then it's going to be very difficult. If you can turn it into a game, an adventure, and have fun, then you're unstoppable. And if you like videos like this, be sure to click on this one next. See you soon.